Has there ever been a time that you felt manipulated in your life, or that things weren't being created for your benefit, but rather the benefit of someone else or others? I think it's one thing for us to realize that in the real world with advertising and businesses and brands trying to gain our attention. It's pretty obvious and we understand when it's happening. But online, it's a little bit more difficult to understand because a lot of it happens behind the scenes and we don't know exactly what's happening. This is why I think ethical design and technology is one of the most important considerations anybody who creates an application or creates a new form of technology could consider when they're developing this. The chief aim of ethical design is to focus on the user first, user customization, the user ability to have control over what they are able to do, and their well-being. And when you focus on the user first, the rest kind of falls in line behind it. Most social media platforms and most applications out there that are dealing with big data, they don't consider the user first. They consider their bottom line first, which I get how that's developed. But again, I don't think that's ethical. It is a way to run business, but I don't think it's the right way to run business. Nyched is a new type of platform and it does things differently. At its core, Nyched focuses on you, the user first. I think when you elevate profit over people, that's when it becomes unethical. I think if you focus on the user first, then everything else kind of falls in line. There are three major parts of ethical design, in my opinion, when it comes to technology. The first would be transparency. As a company, you have to be honest with your users about exactly what you're doing and what you're using the information for. Not saying you can't collect any data, but I am saying that you should be letting them know when you're selling their information. Or just not doing it at all is a better way to go about things. There's plenty of ways to make money online with an application that's being designed. We don't have to have these backroom deals, essentially, where data is constantly getting transferred about our habits and whatnot online. The next goes hand in hand with that, which is privacy. I think that really the best way to go about things is to give autonomy to the individual to decide what they want done with their information. It's extremely important to give the individual the ability to choose because they're the ones that are fueling your product. If you don't have users, you don't have anything going for you. This is something that doesn't happen online. We don't have transparency. We don't have privacy. We don't have a choice anywhere, which is one of the reasons why I created Nyched. The third and probably most important thing that falls into what I would define as ethical design in technology is going to be user empowerment. That comes down to the benefit of the user and the ability to customize things within the technology that they're utilizing. So the focus needs to land on the user first, so that the user, one, wants to use the technology, and two, they feel empowered by it to continue to interact with the things that are on there. It's extremely important to provide a good user experience, as well as customization so that a user is able to have a say and be able to do things just like in the real world. We get to decide where we go and what we eat and what types of topics and hobbies we interact with. I think ethical technology needs to incorporate those types of ideas into the applications as well. If the technology first doesn't serve the user, it falls into this gray area where it's questionable about what the goals are even and how does it benefit society as a whole and each individual that's using it. Out in the real world, it starts with us. It doesn't start with the big corporations. They have to draw us in. Online, it's the opposite focus. We're enticed into these systems, but then it only benefits the owner of those systems. Where in the real world, there is a symbiotic relationship between the brand and the business and the customers. Online, there aren't really customers, there's just users because we get these things for free, which means we have to pay for it with a different means of payment. It's not a monetary transaction, it's a time transaction. And then we are forced to continue to be in this loop of giving up our time to these platforms and these companies so that they can then take the data they get to make money off of it. And that's where I think things fall apart. That's where I think it's questionable at the very least, if not unethical. One of the biggest ways we've achieved this at Nyched to give the confidence to our users that we are who we say we are is we remove gatekeepers first and foremost. You have to get rid of admins and moderators and algorithms in order to give confidence to your users that they truly have control over their autonomy inside of the app. So it's up to you, the individual, to make decisions based on what you believe and what you want to see. What you believe could be as simple as you want to see cat videos, or it could be a ideological type of perspective that you hold. And that's up to you. I don't believe that I have the right to tell you what to do with your time and with your energy online. And I don't think it's ethical either for me to put my personal bias onto you, especially without you knowing, especially without me being in front of you having a conversation or something along those lines, where you're getting notified that my bias is being pushed on you as the platform owner. It's extremely important to me is to be user-centric. It's to put you first and foremost. If you don't have a good user experience, if you don't have functionalities and customizations and filtering at your fingertips, simple things that you can do with information coming out of a database, then I don't think you're having a true experience. This video is sponsored by Nyched, and Nyched did something revolutionary. It's the first platform in the world to take an ethical approach to programming, and it puts you at the center and at the focus. It gave you the ability to filter and customize your environment so that you had a say. We removed algorithms and gatekeepers so that you don't have to have a big question mark of if you're getting to the information that you want to see. And we put other unique functionalities into the app as well. The best way to support Nyched is to join the beta. To join, go to resistthealgorithm.com. I totally understand if you can't join the beta. The other ways you can support Nyched is by going to the merch store and picking up some Resist the Algorithm merch, either a hat or a hoodie or other things that are in the store. And also liking and commenting on these videos as well as following this page. To check out our merch, go to resistthealgorithm.com and click on the shop tab. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more. The other thing that I've talked about before that's extremely important to me is having a user-centric approach. Putting you at the center of Nyched, giving you the ability to customize and filter your information and feed so that you get to see exactly what you want to see. It doesn't have to be some ideological thing that's divisive. But if you don't want to see those things on my platform, Nyched, you're able to filter them out. You can't do that anywhere else. You can't wholesale block topics. But because of the way that things were designed, you are able to eliminate posts that you don't even want to see. You can create an environment where you just get to interact with your interests, whatever they happen to be. I've put you at the forefront of the ability to choose and see what you get to interact with and do on the application. If you don't want to see a whole topic because of the way that posting works by adding topics to the post, you can eliminate that from your feed entirely and it won't get served up to you. Because why would I want to serve up something to you that you don't want to see? I want to connect you with your passions and interests as quickly as possible so you can get that dopamine hit that everybody's looking for, and then hopefully take that to inspire you to actually get out and interact in the real world with your passions, and to not stay online just scrolling, hoping to get another hit. The other side of this is trust and transparency. I hope that with my focus of putting you first, that lends a great deal of trust to me, but I am committed to being transparent about what we intend to do as a company, and I am committed to never sharing your data, your personal data, with anyone to make a sale off of it. I would rather have you as my customer than to have you just as a user and a product in a catalog of people and personality types and that sort of thing that I can then pass on to other advertisers somewhere to be able to advertise to you. I'd rather you get a direct, connected, concierge service type of experience that you get to define, and then you gain the benefit of knowing that, hey, this is a company I can trust. This is a better way, a more ethical way to interact online. Traditional social media doesn't consider their users first. They put themselves above all else. They are trying to keep us in the apps for longer because our eyeballs and our time are the true product that they have. They take those things, they take the information that they gain off of our browsing habits and our search queries and those types of things, and they sell it on to advertisers. And that's how they make their money. And it's not an ethical way to do business. We were told that these are free speech platforms. We were told that we had free access to information, but there's clearly algorithmic bias there. There's clearly a way to push and pull levers on social media so that certain things get promoted and other things don't. And maybe that's happening automatically. Maybe it's not nefarious at all. Maybe there's no one actually pulling a lever except for the algorithm. Or maybe there is. I don't know how to prove to someone that there isn't without eliminating the algorithm entirely, which is what we did on Nyched. We just took the algorithm out of the application because it's not necessary if you get to have the ability to customize and filter your feed. The other concern that's eliminated is what is going on from a privacy perspective. Is your information truly your information, or is it something that's taken and collected and then sold on to the next person? I think we all know the answer to that. We've all been in a situation where we search for something somewhere, and then on another site, we see an ad for that thing for a month or a couple of weeks or maybe even a whole year, and we're not even in the market for those products anymore. And that's a big part of what I wanted to eliminate. I don't want you to have concerns about if your browsing history and your opinions and that type of thing is getting collected to be shared somewhere else. It's not happening because there's no algorithm there to funnel it into the right buckets to be sold to the right people. On social media platforms, you don't get a say. You don't have a choice. The only choice you make is whether to open the app or not that day, and then whether to comment on things that are fed to you, that you get to see on your feed. But it's not a choice of what comes up in your feed. Sure, you get to follow groups and friends and that sort of thing, and hopefully get to see some of their posts. But you don't get to see all of their posts. And you definitely don't get to filter out the posts of theirs that you don't want to see. On Nyched, it's different. You have user agency. You are the focus. You are at the center of the application. You are the first and primary thought of the way things were designed. And you have the ability to customize and filter and eliminate things that you don't want to see in your feed. And eventually in the future, I want you to be able to do that on a very macro level where you can say, I don't want this topic from this person, or I don't want this topic from this company. And you get to curate your environment so that you are constantly getting fed interactions from topics and hobbies and interests of yours, hopefully to inspire you to get out to go and interact in the real world with those topics and hobbies and interests of yours. Nyched is the first ethical platform that's ever been in existence, where it focuses on transparency and privacy, and most importantly, it focuses on you first. The rest will follow. I'm not worried about that. I want to create an environment that is an awesome experience for you so that you have the confidence to continue using it, and primarily so that you can then be inspired to go out and interact with your passions and your hobbies online. Nyched is the world's first human interaction platform, and it's totally within your control. To learn more, go to resistthealgorithm.com. If you like this video, leave a like. If you have something to say about this topic, leave a comment down below. I want to hear what you have to say and have a conversation with you about it. And if you want to see more, stay tuned because the next video is coming up right now.